I'm with Manchester People's Assembly and Queer Resistance, which is an LGBT campaigning group campaigning against the Tory cuts. I've been with a whole load of protesters tonight on Canal Street at Velvet protesting the LGBT Tory meeting. The reason we're protesting it is because we believe that the Tories are not friends of the LGBT community. The ideologically driven austerity cuts are making things really difficult for the LGBT community. So, for example, there have been cuts to HIV services, cut to youth services which support LGBT youth who are being bullied, who are being thrown out by their parents, and the lack of homeless shelters because of cuts means that LGBT youth who have to leave home have got nowhere to stay and are increasingly having to live on the streets. This government also deports LGBT refugees back to the countries where they face imprisonment, brutality and even death. So we were there to say, as part of the wider protest against the Tory party conference, that the Tories are not welcome in Manchester, they're not welcome in this country, and we're going to build a broad-based campaign against their ideologically driven cuts and to get them out of office.
One of the reasons why we do these protests is because protests work. I mean, we've just got news of the fact that the dignitaries, the parliamentarians that were supposed to come to the event tonight didn't turn up. Only 30 people came to the event and they were expecting hundreds of people, so I think they heard that we were coming and they didn't want us to be, saying to their face that Tory cuts are killing people. So I think it's a, resounding success that we've managed to smash and gate crash their event.
Tories have brought in a lot of welfare cuts. Part of that is that they're planning to stop housing benefit for young people aged 18 to 25. This is going to have a massive impact on young people. Young people will have less choice about where they live. In Manchester there's been a massive increase in homelessness. I think more than there has been around the country, I think about 150% increase. There's a self-made homeless camp on Oxford Road called the Ark, which the City Council has been harassing and also the MMU have as well, who own the land. They've been trying to make people move on for there. People have built that shelter and live in tents because it's warmer, it's safer being in a group. Council are trying to drive them away from that safe place instead of providing proper shelters for them and instead of lobbying the government to make sure that they fund the local authority enough to provide the homeless shelters that we need. I mean, I think everyone can notice on Manchester the massive increase in people rough sleeping, and this is only going to get worse because the Tories are intent on driving through an ideologically driven round of huge cuts and dismantle the welfare state, dismantle the NHS, dismantle the power of local authorities and everything that ordinary people need in terms of support. And the protest we had tonight is part of the wider protest against the austerity measures, and to say there is a choice. There doesn't need to be poverty, there doesn't need to be homelessness. This is a rich country, there's plenty of money. It's just that the Conservatives choose to spend that money and keep that money in the top 1% of their friends and the rich people instead of redistributing it so that everyone benefits from the wealth of this country. And this is why we have to keep fighting so that we have an equal society where the wealth that this society generates is divided among everyone according to need, not according to rich people's prejudices and greed.